Att vara feminist är att ha kunskapen om maktstrukturerna. Det är att vilja förändra dem.
Och det är klart att många skulle önska att jag skulle ta min efterträdare och sätta henne i knät.
Från rött arbetarparti till 𝘄𝘄𝗄𝗃 är det en riktig beskrivning av Vänsterpartiets förvandling.
Jag är uppfostrad som kvinna, mött som kvinna, har agerat som kvinna i hela mitt liv. Om jag ska tänka mig för och tänka att ja, det är jag visserligen, men i första hand är jag människa. Och hur gör jag då? Det har jag ju aldrig fått lära mig någonstans.
Vi är det minsta och vi gör det största. Hela tiden har det sett ut så i politiken.
They will be attacked. They will be minimized. They will be scorned. This always happens whenever we are on the verge of taking a new step in civilization.
Vad är det för jävla kommunistpropaganda, va? Jävla skit.
Feminismen handlar om att flytta fram positionerna. Att se att detta är politiskt. Det är inte privatfrågor.
Ματ. Κλέβει η πραγματικότητα τα όνειρά σου και εσύ την κλέβεις για να ονειρευτείς. Κλέβει η πραγματικότητα τη ζωή σου και εσύ την κλέβεις για να ζήσεις.
Ξέρεις πως δεν μπορείς να φύγεις. Έχεις λιμνάσει. Η ζωή. Αυτή τη φορά ίσως κατάλαβες. Φύγε, 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 σου ψιθυρίζει, σου ξύνει τα αυτιά σου, ξυρίζει τις άκρες από τα μάτια. Όταν βγεις στο δρόμο, όχι την ηθάκη δεν την έχεις υπόψη σου. Και περπατάς και πονάνε τα πόδια σου και γυρίσεις μια φορά το βλέμμα, θα δεις μια σκιά στην άκρη του δρόμου. Φοβήθηκες? Είναι απλώς τα σκουπίδια. Είναι απλώς εκείνα που σε άφησαν, που τα άφησες πίσω σου. Τα πατάς, είναι δικά σου. Τα σκουπίδια είναι πάντα δικά σου. Έπρεπε να πλύνεις το στόμα σου, θα σου βάλω πιπέρι για να τα πιάσεις. Τα σκουπίδια είναι ιερά. Έχουν ζήσει τόσες ζωές, οι σύντομες υπάρξεις τους, η χρήση και μετά. Και μετά πόσους αιώνες αυτά θα είναι ακόμα εδώ. Πόσους αιώνες θες σακούλα για να ξαναγίνεις νερό, για να χαθεί. Η σακούλα θα είναι εκεί. Η εφήμερη σακούλα που χρησιμοποίησες για μια στιγμή την έπιασες στα δόντια σου, όσο και αν την ξεσκίσεις, θα είναι εκεί. Δεν μπορείς να ξεφύγεις από τη σακούλα. Το ξέρεις άλλωστε, έτσι δεν είναι? Πώς να ξεφύγεις? Το νερό δεν φτάνει ποτέ. Μόνο πνίγει τα βήματα ή την πόλη, λιώνει τα χαρτιά και τα σώματα, κολλάει τη σακούλα στα πεζοδρόμια και μετά φεύγει. Σαν τα όνειρα. Δεν μένει τίποτα. Και εσύ είσαι ακόμα εκεί. 0. Σβήσε το φως.
Ήταν ουσιαστικά μια πολιτική παρέμβαση στο κοινωνικό γίγνεσθε. Τότε το να αποφασίσουμε, για παράδειγμα, να πάμε στον πόλεμο του Ναγκόρνο Καραμπάχ και να βοηθήσουμε τους Αρμενίους.
Ήθελα να δω γυναίκες στην πολιτική και μάλιστα γυναίκες πρόσφυγες.
Νιώθω ότι είναι κάτι που πρέπει να κερδίσω, παρά ότι κάτι που σου δίνεται αυτόματα.
Τα κοινωνικο-οικονομικά δεδομένα έχουν οδηγήσει ενδεχομένως και οι γυναίκες να θεωρούν ότι έχουν κατακτήσει την ισότητα, ενώ ξέρουμε ότι είμαστε πολύ μακριά όλες.
Είναι μεγάλος πόνος να ξυπνάς κάθε πρωί και να βλέπεις στα σπλάχνα του ίδιου του πενταδάχτυλου αυτά τα σημάδια της κατοχής.
Το τουρκικό εμπάρκο είναι ένα τεράστιο εμπόδιο, το οποίο βλέπουμε καθημερινά σε ό,τι κάνουμε.
Οι πολιτικές σκοπιμότητες και τα πολιτικά προβλήματα δημιουργούνται λόγω οικονομικών συμφερόντων.
Για να τρομάξεις το
Οι άντρες κυβέρνησαν, οι άντρες διαχειρίστηκαν τα πράγματα. Δεν θα ήταν σωστότερο και για την ίδια την κοινωνία και για τον ίδιο τον ψηφοφόρο να δοκιμάσει και ένα νέο μοντέλο. Το μοντέλο άντρες και γυναίκες μαζί.
Ένα, δύο, τρία. Επιτυχία!
Και η ισότητα. Δηλαδή όλα αυτά οδηγούν στη συμβίωση στο τέλος και σε μια ήρεμη και ειρηνική κοινωνία.
So when I can walking with free, I can tell my opinion, my idea. This is freedom.
Το μίσος είναι τόσο μεγάλο που κάνει τον άνθρωπο όλο και μικρότερο.
Είσαι καταπληκτική.
So, welcome ladies, women in film and television from 3 countries. We are so honored. We have the president of the international organization Women in Film and Television, Helene Granqvist, with us. Rea Wallden, the president of Women in Film and Television in Greece. We are the British International Film Festival in Greece, but I represent also the organization from Cyprus. We are bright new women in film and television. So I would like to say a few words for both of you. Helene Granqvist, first of all, she's a producer. Prize-winning producer. She graduated from the Royal Theatre School in Copenhagen. In 2011, she founded the Nordic Factory Film. Her films have been in Sundance, Cannes, Toronto, Tribeca, San Sebastian. We're looking forward to have more films here in Cyprus and the British Film Festival in the future. She's a pitch coach and a lecturer internationally. Since 2013, she has been the president of the board of the Women in Film and Television in Sweden and the founder of both WIFT Nordic and the Alliance of Women's Networks in Europe. Since 2018, she has been the president of Women in Film and Television internationally. She's a member of the European Film Academy and a founding member of ARTEF, Anti-Racism Taskforce European Film. And Rea Wallden from Greece. She's a film theorist and filmmaker. We enjoyed some experts of your experimental films and from Helen before the trailer from Feminist. Rea holds a PhD in philosophy. She teaches in the Department of Digital Art and Cinema of Athens University and in the Hellenic Open University. She has been a member of the board of directors of the Greek Film Center since 2017, the European Network for Avant-Garde and Modernism Studies from 2015 to 2017, and she's a member of Women in Film and Television in Greece and the president since 2020. Also, she's a member of the Hellenic Semiotic Society, the International Association for Semiotic Studies. I would like to know more about this. The Society for European Philosophy and the Hellenic Film Academy. She co-wrote the feature film Thief of Reality with Antoinette Angelidi. It was the first part of your debut, and we watched also some parts from your experimental short films. Helen, we welcome you.
Thank you very much for having me. It's an honor to be with you today.
The honor is ours.
Yeah, what is the what did you do the last 4 months during the pandemic? You didn't go to Berlin, you didn't go to Cannes. So how was this period for you?
I work more than ever. Actually, right now I'm in a workshop in Iceland with the Nordic countries and the Faroe Island and Greenland. It's a workshop called Nordic Girls Shoot, and it's a collaboration with WIFT in the other Nordic countries. But I'm there as a pitch coach, but it's a mentor program where we have girls from under 30, 2 from each country, to meet each other, talk about projects, but also network. Last week, I was in Brazil doing training with the Culture Center. I've been in Serbia a couple of weeks ago, training a TV series. I've been traveling a lot, but from my computer. I've been traveling more than ever. So I have busy days. And of course, the work with Women in Film International is also takes some of my time. And we have always worked digitally. So in a way, the world has adapted to the way Women in Film and Television International works. So for us, is that our normal has now been the world's normal. Yeah.
Excellent. And what about you, Rea?
Well, I was also extremely busy. As you very well know, we just finished our fourth 50/50 WIFT Film Festival, Equality in Cinema. This year, our festival was about the elimination of the violence against women. It was a great success. It was the first time we did it online. it was the first time we did it online, so it was quite complicated and a new experience. Then again, as Helene said, this opened us new audiences. We had really a lot of people watching us from, which was a new, I mean, we always had full rooms when we screened films, but the full room in a digital community is something incredibly bigger. So it was, yes, it was a new experience in many ways. Also, we had a very vivid discussion in the frame of the festival. So I would say that this was a very busy and successful effort. Apart from that, as you have mentioned in my CV, I'm teaching nonstop. So I didn't feel much of a difference, apart from the fact that I needed to become technically literate in a very fast forward way. I mean, not regarding cinema, this kind of technologies I knew, but the online interaction, it has come to a new level. So yes, it was a very busy time.
So Helen, how? Yes, yeah. Sorry, Rea,
so please go on.
Okay, this is my understanding also, that we women and of course men were very busy also during the pandemic. We are creative and we found new waves, or we continue to do what we do, digital working and connecting, and we schedule for the future. So Helen, what are the plans for the future for women in film and television?
Yeah, I'm happy to share. You know, one thing that I'm really happy for that happened, and it actually connects to your area, is that when I became the president in 2018, we were a quite small board, mostly with Americans. We were 2 Europeans, 1 Canadian, and we were all white. And it wasn't that good, because we are an international organization and we should represent 6 continents. We should also represent different experiences. And I'm very happy because since August, we have a very diverse board, and we also have a board from 6 continents, but we are 16 people. So very much of my time has also been occupied how to structure the work for a board, because we were very clear it should be a working board. So a lot of my time has also been used for finding strategies, how to organize the work with people from all over the world. And we now work in 4 committees, 1 committee for knowledge, activism and advocacy, 1 committee for industry, and 1 committee for program and events, and 1 financing committee. And give you the picture, what are these committees doing and what's the plans for the future. Regarding the advocacy committee, one of the first things that will be done is to create actually the arguments. Why is WIFT work so important all over the world? So we will now ask researchers from all over the world to give us the argument why the work we do is so important to create sustainable change. Because if you look at WIFT chapters all over the world, it's very obvious that the groundwork that has been done, like from grassroots organizations like WIFT, it's crucial to create the change that then will be, you can see in regulations, etc. So what we do is really important, not always acknowledged though. So part of this advocacy committee is to acknowledge the work WIFT networks do all over the world. The industry committee has a very funny idea, and of course it's very close to my heart, though I also work as a pitch coach, and we have not gone public with this. This is the first time I say it outside the boardroom, that we now plan to do a WIFTI worldwide pitch. And our vision is still just a vision, but the vision is that we should have a global pitch with 6 continents attending financiers and to do the global pitch. And I think that is something that is really important for women, that we have our own markets and also our own money. And if we talk about the financing committee, one of the visions there, and that's also very close to my heart, is that we want to create a fund, a WIFTI fund, where networks like yours, because I don't know, but I'm quite sure that you always struggles to find financing for the work you do. And we can see that all over the world. And it's really hard because the work WIFT organizations do is really in between chairs. So we would like to find money to dedicate to this kind of work. When it comes to the program and event group, we have things coming up quite soon. We are now planning for an event in Berlin. We have, since many years, a collaboration with the Berlinale, and WIFT Germany and WIFT in the Nordics and WIFT International. This year, we will expand that collaboration with WIFT India, WIFT Nigeria, and hopefully WIFT Los Angeles to do an event at the Berlinale. And one thing that people might not think, I can go on forever, so you have to stop me now, but one thing people usually don't know, that the world's biggest market is in Bollywood. The world's second market is in Nollywood, and the world's third market is in Hollywood. But from the Western perspective, we often think that the Western perspective is the big perspective, but it's not. So that is somehow the content of what we are going to do. More to come about that. So yeah, we're also planning to do some kind of short film showcase for March 8th. And we have ongoing WIFTI worldwide webinars. Next one will be, I think it's December 20th. Yeah, with Laurie Bolton, who is very charismatic, a very experienced location scout, is more location expert, I would say, from Hollywood. So that's it. So it's a lot of things coming up from WIFT International, and I'm very grateful for this. And you have Olga Malea from WIFT Greece is now part of the board, so you have some representation and a voice from your part of the world as well.
So from Europe, Helen, which you consider Europe as Europe Bollywood? It's the fourth power in film.
In this case, we didn't put Europe. We are the arena for telling the stories about others, and I think that's quite significant for Europe. I think Europe is a very good place to do that. Actually, in WIFTI board, we have Greece, Ireland, Germany, and Sweden represented in the board. But I don't know if I understand your question. Was it an answer on your question?
You mentioned Nollywood and Bollywood, and Hollywood has the third place. I'm asking about European film world. What the position?
Yeah, just in this case, because we were interested to look at the big markets, and maybe it's because I am European. I think we can afford to make other stories visible. I think that's really important. For me, it's to use my white supremacy in a way. What can I do during this time? I have this little power to give visibility. And as I say, I hope I don't not see important things in Europe, but I think it's important to acknowledge, especially those continents that has not been so visible in our organization, because I look from the WIFTI international perspective. And I think, so Asia, Africa, and South America is really important. Yeah.
May I add something in the discussion? Of course, I would agree about the different views and the visibility of different continents. But may I add that obviously the West with a big W does not exactly exist. I mean, the West as Hollywood is not the experience that a filmmaker would have in Greece, for example. Possibly, I would argue that one of the advantages of European cinema is precisely not being this kind of unified market that the American market is. Let's say that one of the reasons I believe that we are able to accommodate also different ways of seeing from different parts of the world is the fact that we do exist as a combination of different ways of seeing already in Europe. If one would search to put a finger, to choose a point of what is particularly European, is precisely the fact that there is no one particular European thing in making films. The fact that we have different ways of seeing, that we have different ways of making films,
Yeah.
different sizes of economies also, different, it's an issue of filmmaking, but also an issue of making films. It's not only an issue of language, of film language, but also an issue of different sides of economies, different ways of finding money, different relations between the product of film and the people who create it. For example, the importance of the film directors as opposed to the film companies is something that is particularly European, and the importance of let's say, protecting the film directors as creators. So, for example, for the Greek reality of making films, even the biggest production in Greece is smaller than the biggest Hollywood production.
Of course.
So
yeah.
we obviously do not identify, it's not just an issue of culture, it is an issue of sheer economics. But also, I would like to say that this can be a positive issue, because in small filmmaking, there is also the virtue of new ways of seeing, less, let's say, framed by the dictions and the bigger economic production. So I would say that if I want to add and completely agree that we have to accommodate and open up, let's say that opening is not just an issue of countries, it's also an issue of ways inside the way of making
It
films.
really is. May I answer? Because I think it really inspires me. Listen to you, and it's not that we shouldn't see the event we do in Berlin as an opposite for Europe, because I think the European story, and especially listen to you, make me feel very proud. I was watching the European Film Academy yesterday, and I was a bit concerned that it was very much men represented. I don't know if you follow it, yeah. Good films, absolutely good films, but problematic, I must say. It is problematic when European Film Academy has a lineup where all the films are made by men. There is something with perception that should be looked over, I think. I hope that will happen in the future. Agnieszka Holland will be the new director. Hopefully she can influence for the future. But what you're saying, Rea, is really inspires me. And I hope we can continue that discussion about the complexity.
Yes, so the films, the festivals can contribute to that, to their selection, to select more female filmmakers, as we do in Greece and Cyprus. 50%, half of the program is made by female producers or directors. Thank you for the last 5 years. But I'm very much interested, and I congratulate this WIFTI fund you are going to establish for new, probably new female members of filmmakers of the organization, and maybe you have to consider for distribution also, because you know the market better with the organizations of WIFT in this all over the world. Maybe
I must say
the channel.
It's the first steps. But I'm happy to share but it's still a vision. So I must say it's absolutely possible to influence. But the important statement is the awareness that there need to be money dedicated, especially for women. That's very obvious. Then exactly how this will be distributed, that's a process we just started, but we need to allocate our own money. Like a marriage, you need to have your own money to have an equal, I'm sorry, but that's the fact.
Yeah, this is great, Helen. I mailed you months ago during the pandemic. I think that we were establishing a platform, a distribution platform, Inspire TV. We are here right now, and it was launched last month, running the Cyprus International Film Festival, and we offer distribution to the films that participate already in the festival, but also to independent filmmakers, and of course women filmmakers that cannot find distribution through the other channels, or they are not able to reach the channels of distribution. So maybe WIFT can make also. I know her. Made Herflix, exist right now. Maybe Inspire TV can partner also, or it's another possibility for distribution. Just have it on mind.
I think that's something very important, because but that is also something we should learn, because there are, culture and ecosystem has its ideas, what's best, what's successful, but we should be aware that we are in an industry that are in a big change. And I think that the relation between storyteller and audience are coming closer, and that's also has influenced or will continue to influence the way we distribute, because the distribution has been a very potent part of the chain. I think that will be smaller and smaller, where the relation between the film and the audience will come closer. And I think a diversity of platforms would be the best. I think everything is better when it's diverse. I think that is a truth that you can't say it's not true.
Yes. Yeah, in my opinion, is to find we have to find more ways female filmmakers to be seen, their work to be seen, either in the festivals with increasing the quantity of the films, and of course quality.
But I think that's what inspires me to do. I have a glamorous title, but it's a non-profit job, so it's a volunteer job, to be honest. And why do I do it? And I think I do it because I'm thrilled about the idea, the power we have together, because the power we have together, women all over the world, it's fantastic. And when we see ourselves as this power, and I hope that that's the picture, together, not me, not you, but together, we are a very strong voice, but we are also markets. We can have our own market. So when we look at ourselves like that, so I think that is the long-term vision I have, that we should have the awareness to look at ourselves and the power we have together. What do we want to create with that power? What do we want to do for each other with that power? And I think that inspires me a lot. That's why I'm doing this work, because when I found out, holy Moses, the day we go together, no one can stop us. Yeah.
Exactly. Rea, since when you have been a volunteer in the community?
No, but I started 2013, and I decided that I've been an environmental activist before, and the reason I'm quite aware of sustainable development and what's needed to create another world. And it was very obvious, if you want to create a sustainable world, you should invest in women. So my entry point to feminism was not equality. It was the fastest way to a sustainable world. If you want to have a sustainable world, you should invest in women, because then you will automatically have a more sustainable world. And I think I read in the end of your film, the last clip, Petra, it said that invest in women and it will solve itself. And it's the truth. There's so much research that proved that. So it's not my opinion, it's the fact. Invest in women and we will have a more sustainable world. And we are honestly in a big crisis right now, environmentally, etc. So it's
in my opinion, is to cooperate with men, not only women.
No, I'm not saying men will disappear, but if you still have the 80-20, if you don't do anything, you will always have 80% men and 20% women. So it's not so interesting to talk about men right now. It's more interesting, what can we do to give power to more women, and then have the effects of. So put the men to the side and see what we can do to.
Okay. So what is your opinion, Rea?
Huh? I beg your pardon, I didn't hear, sorry.
Yeah, what is your opinion about that, Rea?
Where do I start? So many things were said. Obviously, I agree that our issue is not to discuss about men. They don't need our help. They have centuries of being in a hierarchically position of power. Obviously, I don't mean individual men. We are discussing about feminism because there is a kind of a very strong social inequality, which goes around every part of our lives and every part of our, it is practical, it is theoretical, it is in the ideas of people, in the practices, in the laws, everywhere. So when we fight against inequalities, we are not against the people who are not affected by that inequality. We focus on the people that are affected by the inequality because we want to correct this unequal, unjust situation. So I'm amazed by the way that Helene put the power of women. I must admit, this was not my entry point, although I do agree completely with the position. And I'm also amazed by I strongly believe in the diversity and the solidarity and the power of different women put together and different points of view and different experiences of being woman. And so one of the things that I have tried in the relatively short time that the WIFT GR exists, but I have been feminist since I remember myself, it's a different story. But in WIFT GR, we have tried on the one hand to unite women from different professions in the audiovisual world, because there are a lot of hierarchies and a lot of divisions inside the profession of filmmaking. And then we try to incorporate different views of what is a film. So you will see that members of our community are experimental filmmakers, commercial filmmakers, and everything in between, documentaries and fiction filmmakers, all kinds of approaches, because there is not one way to be feminist. There are many ways to be feminist, as there are many ways to be sexist. Yeah. And but there is such a thing as a feminist and a sexist. And yeah, there is the point why we are fighting. So, and so we we try to include in our work all the different views of filmmaking, considering that it is feminist filmmaking, and all the different views of feminism, because as you know, there is no one feminism.
No.
There are many feminisms.
I love what I hear, Rea, because I think that is, yeah, sorry, but I think,
no, please.
But I think that's also my experience with this with the international board we have. You know, because it can be very tricky sometimes to handle all these kind of differences, but I usually say you don't have to like each other, but you must love each other. And I think I mean with that, you should respect each other even if you're different. I don't have to like what you think, but we have the same goal. We want the same thing. We want a more balanced and diverse world. Then you can have thousands of ideas how to come there. And I think that's good. I agree with you. And I think that's the challenge for the leadership. How do you lead an organization when you have this? But I think it's yes, I think with this committee work, for example, we do, that's my ambition. I was very precise to say, I don't want to lead these committees. I want to have other leaders because I think to flatten an organization, and the challenge is to be the leader, but also be the leader in a way so we all can be leaders, because how do we do that? And I'm not sure I have the exact idea, but I think I'm Swedish, you know, consensus is part of our mindset. And I truly believe in consensus, that we have to talk, we have to listen. We have to listen to each other and try to understand. I said, you don't have to like it, but try to understand it and respect it. And lovely to listen to you, Rea. It's thank you, Petra, for yeah.
5 more minutes, Helen. I would like Rea to explain to me how Hellenic Semiotic Society can be involved in filming creation, how you combine this.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Let's leave the society out and speak about semiotics. Semiotics is the science of reading culture. Okay. It is a way to read the cultural products. This means that obviously it is also a way of reading cinema. And it is a very useful tool to understand, because every film in a filmic way, in its own way, does speak very clearly. And the ability to read what it is said It is a power by itself. That's why personally, I believe that in a first level, all citizens in a modern society should be literate, audiovisually literate. I mean, it is important politically, and it is another of my political activisms apart from feminism, to make literate all the citizens of a society. And literacy is not just to read texts, is to understand audiovisual messages. Half, if not more, of what we perceive as reality comes from television or from the internet. The news, the opening windows to our world are not really windows, are texts, are audiovisual texts, are constructions. So if we don't really know how these things work, how can we be free, and how can we choose by ourselves? The Great Revolution, the Enlightenment came when people started reading texts. Now the next revolution is for everyone to read films, to read the audiovisual messages. That is my belief.
Thank you. And last
You're
question.
super cool. That's so cool. This is so cool, I must say. I love it.
Yes. Yeah. Do you think that filming can be in a new way of communication, a new way of enlightenment? Female
Is this
filming?
a question to me or to Helene?
To both of you.
Yeah, I think Rea should answer, because I think she just said, I want to listen to Rea.
But yes, I did say that already. Well, making films can be a revolution or can be a prison. The films are not by the medium itself. Exactly, the medium is a very powerful medium that you can do anything with it. You can use it very badly and you can use it wonderfully. So our fight is to make the medium liberating. And that is what we are trying in WIFT, for example. We are together with the position and the, the road to follow to liberate ourselves and others. I believe that, yes, this is what we are trying to do.
I used to say that we work it, I think you said good or bad, I think consciously. I think that's what you said, to literate. And I think we have to be conscious that we work in an impact industry. And almost no one addressed that in the industry. We have to go. It's in a network like ours, we talk about it. But what if the big markets start to think of which impact does our industry have on the society? The way people think, the way people act. We don't talk about it, do we? Not in the big context, right? And that really surprises me, because when listening to you, it's like, it's comforting me totally, the way you phrase it. And I so like, comes from Greece. I think it's beautiful. It should come from Greece. It came from the Greece way back, and it should come from Greece now. So bring it on, girls. Bring it on, because we need this discourse. We need to talk about it. We need to, and I think you start with children, but also grown-ups. We need to be aware. How does this influence me? Does it conserve ideas? I wouldn't, unconscious bias is unconscious. If I knew about my unconscious bias, I'm quite sure I would be ashamed, because we all carry so much we wouldn't be proud of if we were aware what we are carrying. So to literate is also to make it visible what we actually are carrying, our prejudice and the way we act to other people, the way we conserve patriarchy or racism, etc. That's what you're talking about. And I think that's, and yeah, revolution. Good question, Petra, and good thoughts, Rea. It's an honor to be here with you. I'm so inspired. I will bring that to Iceland soon, because they're waiting for me in Iceland.
Thank you very much being here with us, Helen and Rea. Do you know, Helen, what the origin of Rea's name?
Yes, that she has a Swedish. We haven't really talked about it, but she asked me, wished me happy Lucia. Today it's Santa Lucia, so I know. I'm looking forward to the day when we really can talk about your Swedish roots.
Yeah. So
it's a long story.
It's a long story, but it's the base. It's from ancient mythology, Rea. It's the mother of...
I didn't mean that. She meant...
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
dear.
no, I mentioned that because she mentioned about the Greek spirit and energy.
Okay. So
we have a Rea here. We have
the Greek-Swedish hybrid. Perfetto.
Exactly.
Europe. It is a hybrid.
Europe.
That
That's
is
what
that
you
we
said.
are.
We are in Europe, yeah.
That's so cool. Okay.
Ladies, thank you very much being
Thank
here
you.
with us. Bridges International Film Festival, 11th year, first year virtually, and what an honor. Woman power is here. Let's be connected. Let's make great films to impact the community, society, and have a better world.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Stay safe, healthy, and be inspired always.
Bye-bye.